First of all, I want to say lem lem. Can you guys say lem lem? That's thank you. And to always be grateful and have gratitude and appreciation each and every day. We're here for one more day. You know, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. None of us are. And I just went through that this week. And you all see my little baby there, Skookum. And he just took a tumble off a cliff high as that there pole there. And I thought I was going to lose my baby. Wednesday, we were having a perfectly fine day. We're out there picking up garbage, along the lake. It's really sad that we have to even do that. But we were out there doing that and trying to explore these plant medicines. So if you're watching me eating back there, that's what I was eating, with some of our ayun and our khas. Because if I'm talking, I want to talk not from a place of ego, but I want to talk, from our place of love. And this is our love is these plants, the medicines, all these things that are here, that have sustained our people, from time immemorial, was that everlasting love from our Tamich and Tamhula, that they would be here for us each and every year, long as we always showed them, that respect, love, and took care of them, that they would always fulfill their promise to come back to us. So our people, our Skeluk people that are here, these are the things that are in our hearts, is that we come here and have a chance to have that opportunity to look upon all these beautiful mountains and hills, look into this clouds, into the sky, and into this water that's been running here from the time of our ancestors, that it's been here as long as we fulfilled our responsibilities as well. And so as us, as Skeluk people of this land, we are also educators to our brothers and sisters who live here with us now upon these lands. So thank you, Lim, for each and every one of you, for taking time out of your day to come here and join us and hear the words. And before we leave here, you're going to get to know some of these relatives that are here a little bit more, just through our voice and our songs and our presence. There's a few elders that we were hoping to would be here. I don't know if they're on their way or if they're not able to make it. But I'm really appreciative of our elders here. So if you could give them a round of applause, I'd really be grateful for that. I'm going to start off with a little flute song. Just like my relative here, I'm just learning too. And I make mistakes. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with getting up here in front of people I don't even know and making mistakes. That's fine too, because I'm still learning. And that's one of the reasons why our little group is called the Young Warrior Society, because I feel that it's okay to make mistakes, and sometimes that prevents us from trying, because we have fear of making mistakes. We might have fear that we don't know enough, or we might say something wrong. But I'm going to speak from my heart, and I'm going to center myself with that flute, just like our elder did. Tamhulau. Just like our relative said, these spirits that come back, they miss us. They miss our Sikhan. They miss our Qualam. They miss our Marimsim. They miss our presence. They miss the language. They miss the songs. So it's a beautiful medicine for us to be able to share our music, our language, and our abdil, our creation stories, which are very vital and important for us to recognize our relationship that's always been here from the time that we were created here. This is the homelands of the Methow people, and we're honored to acknowledge them and the ancestors who walked here before us, and to know that they are still here. Their presence is still known and felt all along these waters and these hills and these mountains. Their spirit still flows here, just like this water. And here we have an opportunity to create a little bit of healing. We understand the history of these lands, and they have not been very kind to our people. So that's why it is a great honor that each and every one of you that are here today, a time of truth and reconciliation. This is a very important time in this world, even though each one of us, there's some sense of fear that may reside within us, some sort of hopelessness that we may have. But this is also us creating something new. We have a great opportunity right now. And for these children, we have a great responsibility to create something better for the children. So each and every one of you that come here with your passion, your skills, your experience, and just your presence of listening and honoring us with your respect that you are showing, is beautiful. It's very beautiful to stand here and look and see everyone, This is what we need more of in our world, is this. And my hope is that within our traditional homelands of our people, that each and every community that we go to, we would have this. It would be great for us to go to Wenatchee, Leavenworth, Moses Lake, Keller, everywhere we go. And there's beautiful places like here that Phil and his wife has created here. It's wonderful. I am in very much awe and deep respect of what I see here. It's just, wow. This is all I could ever hope for our people, that one day we would be able to come back here and be welcomed into these communities, and that we would start to begin this process of healing. If anything, we look at those children and see them playing together, in nature, they're not sitting there with a phone in their hand, playing a video game. They're just enjoying nature, enjoying life. And that was my inspiration, is doing the Young Warrior Society camp. Was a place where, as indigenous youth, we could start to learn to break down these barriers of race. Because living on the reservation, sometimes it's hard, and those are challenges that many people don't understand. We live in I guess I could talk for myself, that I grew up in a time where when we played Indians and cowboys, we didn't want to be Indians. We wanted to be the cavalry because they're the ones that always won. That's what John Wayne taught us. We were ashamed to be Indians, to speak our language, to have long hair, to dress up anywhere to be like an Indian. And through life, without culture, sometimes we fall into battles of alcohol, addiction. There's a cycle of violence that have pervaded our families and our homes. And these cycles of violence reside within our heart and our spirit and our conduct. And it taken me many years to get through that. April 13th, 13 years ago, my life was almost taken from that addiction. In 3 years' time, I totaled 3 really nice cars. And the last one put me in a hospital for 60 days. I was in critical care in a coma. And so my memory is kind of spotty in places, because of that. But April 13th, I've celebrated 13 years of sobriety. So I'm grateful to be here, amongst you people. It's taken a lot to get to that pace. But it also has taken a hardship for me and many mistakes to stand before you and to say, I'm Scalu. I'm Scalu. Scalu is human being. So when we were born here on this land, that's all we were, Scalu people. We were separated through all the titles, all the things that took our people apart from one another, because we lived here along the waterways, through our unity, our connection to our foods. We had a great trading network with the canoes that he spoke about. That was our transportation, as well as walking in horses, that we traveled this way for the medicines and the foods that were here and down in Wenatchee, Leavenworth, and all the way down to the Columbia. So when I got my little puppy there from Nisqually, I honored him with the name Skookum, which is our trading language, the Chinook jargon. Our people traveled that far, with our relatives to trade. My dad told me about this man that came all the way from Nelson, BC, through the river each year in the spring like this. And he would travel all the way to Inchalim, Kettle Falls. And there he met his relative, his friend, and they rode on horseback all the way to Montana to trade. And that's just why I'm telling you this, is because this has kept our people in unity together. And right now, we have an opportunity to maintain our trade and our help with one another as relatives. That's what kept us strong. And by us being here with you, that's what we want to do, is to help keep our unity and our connection strong within our homelands, with the foods, the people. So myself, I'm not a gardener. Is there any gardeners in the audience? Raise your hand. Let me see. Who knows anything about gardeners? Couple? How about living on plant medicines? Does anybody know plant medicines? Raise your hand. How about salmon? Does anybody know how to cook up salmon? All right. How about deer hunting? Any deer hunters out here? Berry pickers? Anybody berry pickers? Few? All right. Any good cooks in the audience? Well, if you are, I'm single. Hey. Just teasing. And I like to eat, as you can see. Okay? But today I'm thankful to so many. I got one of my list. I have all these names, down here, because we just decided to do this last minute. Today I'm supposed to speak over there at the Interpretive Center with David, and I'm really honored to do that. This last week, I was called over here to do a presentation at Methow Arts. So those videos should be out soon. I was in full dress. I do the power dancing and stuff, so I had all my regalia on, and I shared some stories for the youth, and those videos should be coming out here soon. And I do a lot of working with the kids. I'm preparing some suicide awareness and prevention topics to speak with the kids. And one of the topics I really like to speak about is humanity, and the relationship to the land and to our foods and to one another. And these all are things that are contained within our stories of our people and our songs, our language. So these are things that are important and vital that we can never forget. And since now that you live with us on this lands, we want to share this knowledge to help you and your children so they can understand that too. So we can start to take down these things that are called racism, hatred. We could break through that and learn values of how to live together, how to learn key words like forgiveness, resiliency, trust, honor. These are beautiful words. And some of my friends that are here, they represent those good things. And I'm going to give them an opportunity to say a few words if they like to today, because they exemplify these things in the work that they do and volunteer and to help people. Because we are also generous and kind. That's just our way of life. That's who we are. We're helpful. We help one another. And that's what we need to live right now, is to be helpful. It's really hard for us to say, I need help. That's one of the hardest things to do, is ask for help, because that requires trust. But being here today, I feel in a safe place. I feel in a place that I'm welcomed. And I'm really honored and grateful to be here. I had a great opportunity to share some words here with K-Root Radio. Yay. Shout out. Thank you, Rebecca. That was a good interview. I want to thank my brothers for really pulling through, making all of these opportunity happen, because this was the last minute. Thank you, Sarah, so much, and our friend Cindy Rupert, and we had Phil, and we had a lot of great people that just pulled up. Rob, and we're trying to do good things within the school systems right now. We're trying to create curriculum to help our children learn about food sovereignty, food security. 3 years ago, we started a garden project, permaculture. And where I live in Nispelem, it's not beautiful like this, it's more arid and dry and windy. I looked at my soil and it's like all cracky like clay. And I'm like, man, these guys are going to come over here and help me build a garden? And I'm like, they're wasting their time. Anybody guys know Skeeter? Michael Pilarski? Yeah, a lot of good people came over to help. Boom. I was surprised to see plants growing. It's like, holy cow. But you know what? Is when we had visitors and company over and people come over and be able to serve people food that you've grown yourself, and the deer and the elk that we hunted and the salmon, all these foods that you're able to provide, just that lot of satisfaction, I guess, and pride and happiness. Like, wow, I did this myself, That was pretty awesome. Last year, during the big fire that we had here, we were able to share some of that food with the people, and just give it all away. And that's why my relatives are here. They did so much. And I really hope that they share some of these things that they did, because they did amazing things, really amazing things that made me proud, And they're still here working, representing. And these are our next leaders that are coming up. So it's very important for us to have our elders to lead the way, as you see right here, with their support. So me being here today gives me great courage that, Our elders have stood up, said, hey, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And it brought me encouragement that our brothers and sisters from this area said, hey, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. And they did. So each and every one of us are enjoying something very memorable today. This is a spiritual gathering. We did this to be a fundraiser, but to me, it's more like something good for a medicine right now, you know? And if you look around, take a moment just to look around. Look at the spirit and the eyes of everyone. I don't see too many people looking around. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And if you want to come in, you know, change position, you can. You know, before you leave, I hope that you get to meet somebody new and to find out how important they are. And that's something we don't do as often. We see people dressed in the way that they're dressed, and we think, oh, that person's so-and-so, or that person's that or that. You know? One of my nieces said, because last year before this whole COVID thing I was going to do my very first professional speaking engagement. For the last few years, I've been just doing volunteer stuff, you know, so, you know, pass the can around, you know, sell a t-shirt and get to the next town, you know. But I finally worked my way up to a first professional speaking engagement. My niece said, well, what would you like to talk about? What would you do? I said, you know what? I said, if I could do this talk the way I would like to do, I'm going to take one braid in and one braid out, one shoe on and one shoe off, and walk up on that stage. She said, why would you do that? And I said, well, if I want to be silly, if I want to be free, if I want to be me in front of those people, that's who I want to be. You know, I don't want to have to be who they think I am. And I want to be fine with that. I want to be perfectly fine with that. And I think that's messages to inspire you to be who you are, to be fine with who you are, to not to have to dress up in any certain way for anyone, because we put labels on people and we want to keep people at a distance because we think, oh, that person's scary, you know, without ever seeing the value that that person has through their experience, the things that they have, because each one of us have a purpose and a mission here on life. Is there any fairies in the audience? Flap your wings. No? You guys know that there's a fairy congress that used to happen up here? Go ahead and nod your head all right, yeah. I presented up there. I did a presentation. And I was kind of freaked out at first because I didn't know much about fairies, you know? I just had... I used to live in California, and I went to one of those, what do they call them, holistic fairs? And this one lady freaked me out. It was a fairy, and I was waiting for this speaker. Her name was Sylvia Brown. I don't know if you guys ever heard of her. You know, and I was blessed that she was there. And I got to meet her, and she's a really awesome lady. And but prior to that, there was this fairy get together, and I walked in there, and this lady just freaked me out in there. So I don't know, she just kind of turned into this little person and was walking around, and I walked out. So when I got invited to come up to the Fairy Congress, I was like, oh man, you know, they said, well, my friend, her name is Terry LeBeau. She said, well, you just come up here and you just talk for an hour, and because I was going to a powwow over on the coast. And I said, well, all right, I'll just go up there and talk for an hour, and I'll head on my way. And I got up there and I enjoyed it so much, and we're having fun and laughing. I was like one of the last cars leaving on Sunday, you know? And those people made me cry up there too. They did this thing they call the angel wash, you know? And I don't know if anybody, raise your hands if you know anything about Standing Rock. Anybody? You? Few? All right, a few of you. Well, I was over there for 7 months, and I didn't know I had a lot of trauma. And if you know anything about Standing Rock, there was a lot of pictures of me, all the different crazy, tragic events, violent events that was taking place. So I was there, and I didn't know I was carrying a lot of trauma. But when they did that angel wash, they line you up like this, and they're singing this really pretty song, and they got a big circle, and they got people on both sides. And you close your eyes, and as you got your eyes closed, and all these people on both sides, they're touching on you, praying on you, singing. My dog went first, and they were just loving him, and that just was so special. And the next thing was my turn. I had my eyes closed, and people were praying, and it just made me feel so special. And I was trying to, it really touched my heart, and I was like, going to cry, and I was like trying to hold it back, because I was like, man, I'm supposed to be this big tough guy, this big tough Indian, and how come I'm not going to cry in front of all these non-indigenous people? And I'm sitting there trying to hold it in. I was pretty crazy. I'm glad nobody had phones. But it really touched me. And that's trust, having trust with my non-indigenous relatives, who just wanted to bless me and pray and, give me some support. And that's just part of my healing journey that I've been on. And the Young Warrior Society is something that we're trying to do to create healing for our children and our people. Because through the horrid history that has taken place, our people have been through a lot. And the cycles of violence into our homes and to our communities. We've been through a lot. The things that the government has done and continues to do has been hard on our people. And all of the racism, the violence that continues to happen towards our people is hard to trust. So we want to find and create places so our people could heal and feel well, that we could eat together. Did all of you guys get some tacos over here today? Before you leave, you better try some, because those are pretty awesome, pretty khast. Today, my relatives, I just want to kind of close up here with one thing in mind. Something very beautiful, that just happened. What is today? Saturday? Sunday?
Sunday.
Happened Friday. Are you guys Sinaiks? Would they like to stand up for a moment? I want to recognize all of our Sinaiks people here. All the Sinaiks. The Canadian government said that we were extinct. They call us extinct. And if those of you ever went up to the traditional homelands of the Sinaiks people, it's so beautiful. It's very beautiful. Even people in Methow, Winthrop, and Twist would be in awe if you seen that beautiful country up there. But our people have been pushed out of those areas, and we fought for our recognition to our lands. But they said, you're extinct. You belong down in America. And due to the courage of Rick Dizitel 10 years ago, we went and hunted Snakilsa, an elk. And so through all the courts of Canada, they fought for the last 10 years. But this has been an ongoing fight led by our elders for many years, generations, that we are still here. And as of Friday, their Superior Court of Canada voted 7-2 that we are still here. So we are still here. We're not extinct. So give it up to us. We're here. We're not invisible. We're not a ghost. We're right here. And that really, really matters. Really matters. Because this is a beautiful time of truth. I want to turn this over to these young ladies here in Pokey because they're doing some really important work, and that kind of falls in the line of what we've heard happen in Canada. You know, this is towards that land back movement, and I think this connections here in Methow has a great strength and possibility, you know, towards that land back movement and the support. Did you bring some of your shirts? And these guys have some amazing shirts that they just brought out. So give them some support. Welcome the Young Warrior Society and Wenatchee Wear.
Introduce myself first. Tilhas Ishchikanchu, Oki Niraniku. My name is Mary Bigwell Lewis. I am a member of the Colville Confederated Tribes of the Wenatchee, Eniat, and Moses bands, and a descendant of the Blackfoot tribe. So both of those introductions are in my traditional languages. So I'm the owner of Wenatchee Wear, which is a clothing brand that focuses on educating through art, creating wearable art. And then I went ahead and spearheaded a land back project last year. We're close to reaching about $30,000 right now, and that's just people donating to our GoFundMe. I'm really excited because I met Faith last year during the wildfires. We came together and gathered donations for the victims, and Robert, and then Rob, and David. So those three are actually on our new Indigenous-led nonprofit, which we're forming right now, that's going to take over the Land Back project so that we can continue to incorporate projects with the kids, working together with other tribes that are non-federally recognized, like the Wenatchee tribe, to obtain a piece of homelands back, to build a community center so we can do events like this. I was born and raised in Wenatchee, and that's something that we have never had. So that's really important, to have a welcoming space for our ancestors to come and practice traditions and our cultures. So I'm really excited for them joining and giving their time and experience and energy. So we just came up with a name, and we're continuing to move forward with 501c3. So we'll be posting more information about that. I'll let you go.
My name is Faith Zachary. I'm a Stanik, Sanpoil, Wenatchee, Methow, Yakima, German. So thank you all for inviting me, Dan. Thank you. I'm part of the River Warrior Society. It's a nonprofit out of Spokane, Washington. We're canoe people. We protect the waterways. I'm also an advocate for MMIW Washington, which is the Missing Murdered Indigenous. We're getting ready to have a gathering on our res on May 5th in honor of MMIW. So we have shirts available. And also I'm part of Mary's awesome nonprofit that she just formed. I'm just really humbled that Dan invited us out here. He's a really amazing person. And want to say anything?
Hello everyone, I'm Robert Tenasket. I am Sampoel, Okanagan, and Sinaites. I was told that many of you here were a lot of the people that donated to us during the fires last summer. I'm very, very honored to be here with you. Your guys' support was amazing, so amazing. With Faith and I and the River Warriors, when those fires came, it happened so fast that there was hardly any time for anybody to get anything started, anything going, anything done. But with your guys' efforts, we were able to put many of those people into hotels that had to leave their houses. We were able to do so much only because of you people, and I am so grateful for that. I just wanted to let you know that. And if anything ever happens like that again and we're around, we will be over here to help you guys like you did with us. That's a given. Thank you.
We would still like to have Phil come up.
First of all, thank you. Thank you for feeling like this place is home, as it should be. Kathy and I are so grateful that we were given an opportunity to participate with this community to create such a welcoming place. Someone had reached out to me and Kathy, and I sort of feel like in our community right now, there's a lot of interest and ideas and momentum to figure out what we can do as we become more aware of how we got here. And it made me think about sort of how we get to this different place, because for me, this home stream park all started with fish and with salmon. And, you know, as they came up the river, the Methow people and others followed them. And that's the foundation of the story, the real story. And there was a truth in that story and in the relationship that those people had with this place. And then another story came along that most of us are a part of. And, you know, it was, we built a town to celebrate that story. And it's a good story. There's nothing wrong with that story. The thing that's so encouraging is that the people on this side of this storytelling, I think, are looking for ways to continue to merge the stories so that in the future that the story is this, that it's not two separate stories, that we have one story. And I just feel like the stuff that I'm learning from people like Mark and Arnold and Dan and Elaine and the folks at the Interpretive Center and you folks, it creates a better place and it makes us all, I think, better and ready to do better things in the future. So thank you very much. Thanks for letting me ramble.
Is there anybody from the Interpretive Center? Okay, here we go. We got David here.
I don't really like microphones. I think my voice is loud enough. If it isn't, tell me.
I can't hear you.
I want to thank all of these folks, because this is the heart of it right now, combined with all of you and your hearts coming together. Really, as Phil said, our hearts coming together in this place and time is what matters. And I want to also say it's an honor to be here with all the other beings, right? I just saw my first osprey up here. We're still hoping that Bruce Morrison's lovely sculptures will attract some right on top of the playhouse. We'll see. There's one close. And I also want to thank Mary and Faith and Robert for all the inspiring work you guys are doing each and every day, and that your ancestors did, and that their ancestors did before them, on and on back, right? And one of the things that has been kind of rattling around in my heart lately is that idea of ancestor. What does it mean to be a good ancestor? And will I be there someday? But what I think is that I think we got time wrong. I think we've got time very wrong, as a white culture in particular. And I think right now we are the ancestors, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to be asking is, am I being a good ancestor today? Right? 7 generations hence? My children are here running around. 1 generation hence? But right now, am I being a good ancestor? Am I walking on this earth with gentleness, with beauty, with love, with kindness? Am I being a good ancestor today? That's what I want to leave you with. Thank you.
So I created a song, and I would like to share this song with you guys, if you wouldn't mind hearing it before I go. The words, it goes, Aha I tamhulauchtit, lemlemt Allah, it says, Yao sa us, puti hu Allah, tihu hast, hu senaikst, puti hu Allah, Yayati isnaqsiltit, puti hu Allah. And translated, how I translate the song, this is our land. And at first I say, Lemlem, thank you to Creator. Thank you to our ancestors from long ago. And thank you to our Inhachin, which is our ancestors that just traveled on, and our our elders of today. And Lemlem, and Puti Hu Allah, we have always been here. Tihu Khas Hu Sinaiks, we are fine. We are the Arrow Lakes people. We are the Indian people of this land. We have always been here. We are one family. We are one people. Thank you, my relatives.